Shalini, you ready?
Yep.
Okay, you ready?
Mhm.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first live episode of Hollywood Kitchen, where I am in the same room with other people. This is so darn exciting. I cannot even tell you. And a huge thank you to Danny Miller today for being my co-host and allowing me to invade his beautiful 1909 historic home for 2 days in a row now.
Thrilled to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you to my special guest, May Wong, named after her famous aunt, who we'll be talking about today. And also a huge thank you to Micheline Cherie. This is a co-presentation of the Elysian Valley Arts Collective, which you can find them online at evartscollective.com, and the Frogtown Art Walk. So thank you so much for joining me. Now, we're gonna start out in the kitchen because we're doing all this on our laptops over Zoom Live. So we're gonna start in the kitchen and start with the recipe. And when I was researching this, I found a couple of recipes attributed to May Wong, and some of them struck me as, in all likelihood, not really authentic or correct, questionable, let's put it that way. But I sent them to Anna and she confirmed that they were not. And we kind of talked about it. One was egg foo young and one was chop suey, and which was also oddly attributed to Buster Keaton in a cookbook too. But then we talked about the tea cakes, and that's ultimately what we decided to do. Now the recipe is coming to us from a very, very tattered cookbook that I have called Milady's Style Parade and Recipe Book of 1935. And in here, it's got a beautiful picture of a fashionable May Wong and the tea cake recipe, which I will be posting, by the way, on HollywoodKitchenShow.com. But for our purposes today, we've reprinted it here. And we're gonna kind of move around here in the kitchen and try to make these for you. All right. So the ingredients we have here, we've got, we've got an egg. You'll need vanilla extracts.
2/3 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of butter, and then I've already pre-sifted a cup and 1/4 of flour with 2/3 cup of sugar. Oh wait.
Excellent.
Oh no, not the sugar is here. 1/4 cup and 1/4 of flour with 2 teaspoons of baking powder and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Excellent. Hang on a second, I forgot to record.
Oh no.
That's okay.
Okay, here we go.
So now we have, it says cream butter.
Yes, and with a lot of these recipes, as Carrie well knows, certain things are left out. Like this one did not say how long to cook it. And since I slavishly follow recipes, I was waiting for them to tell me to put the egg in. They never do, but if you know how to cook. So we're first gonna cream our butter and our sugar.
And I love this KitchenAid mixer, by the way. This is awesome.
So forgive the sound for just a second here. And you definitely want to have your butter pre-softened. And this is a really delicious recipe too. Do you think there's any chance in hell that your aunt was actually involved in the creation of the recipe, or maybe?
Creation of the recipe, maybe not, but she probably ate them.
Yeah.
I mean, they do look amazing. They do look amazing. So
In fact, they are so amazing that when I got here for this episode, Charles was eating almost all of our finished product,
Yes,
and Danny was plucking it out of his.
My son and I had some tea this morning after we made them, when we each had 2, and then I came in and we had 5 more. But we still have enough for. So after we cream our butter and sugar, we're just gonna alternately add the sifted flour mixture with 1/2 cup of milk. The first time I made them the other day, I didn't have any milk and I used 1/2 and 1/2, and boy, that was really good too.
That's good to know.
add some richness.
It's a simple, easy recipe and delicious, unlike some of the strange things you've made on this show that I love.
True.
I'm just gonna, whenever they do the alternate thing, I usually end up just dumping the bowl in at the end.
I've heard a lot of them thinking you alternate the dry and the wet ingredients for a better consistency.
It's a lovely batter, I must say. And then they never say to add the egg. And the first time I made them, I followed the recipe. I'm like, why is this not holding together? But anyway, so I have these beautiful, very bright yolk
Wow.
eggs that I got at the Larchmont Farmers Market in Los Angeles.
Excellent.
You just want to lightly beat it. Throw it in at this point. Again, you make this entire thing in like 10 minutes. It's amazing.
Quick and easy is my kind of recipe for sure.
Have you had some that are like super elaborate and you're just like the cooking portion is most of the show?
I don't know, not yet. I've kind of tried to stick to what I can actually feasibly do so far, but we'll see. Eventually, it might get to that point.
We won't discuss Norma Shear's oatmeal cakes.
Yeah, that was my biggest challenge, if you want to call it that.
And you can make these in different shapes. Carrie has these lovely like mini loaf pans that she used. I have these kind of mini cupcake things that I'm hoping would be kind of like what a Chinese tea cake would look like.
Yeah, and you can pop these in your mouth too. So if you're having a lot of people over, it's easy to just kind of,
It'd be great for a brunch too, or a baby shower or
Oh,
something.
Yeah, and
yeah.
these few ingredients somehow, I mean, because it would make the full 2 dozen in this pan. Oh, my impeccably clean finger, don't panic. But you kind of need help. So I would just fill these. I wouldn't fill them all the way to the top because then they,
A little bit of rice.
yeah, because they're really lovely. As you'll see in a minute, we have some pre-cooked, but anyway, you get the idea. You fill these and they go into the oven. And the recipe says, well, it doesn't say the time, it says 375. One of Carrie's followers said, that seems a little hot. And I think she knew what she was talking about. I burned them the first time. I would do 350 and I would definitely check them at 12 minutes. And sometimes they need another minute or two, depending on your oven, and then take them out and they're like ready to go. They're delicious.
Yeah, so here's kind of what it looks like so far. I will hold this up for you to see. And then do you have the final product in the fridge?
No, it's at our table. It's
Oh, it's
waiting
at
for
our
us to
table.
enjoy.
All right, so we are going to sojourn to Danny's library for full-length discussion with Anna May Wong.
We are going to the library. Forgive us for this movement. You can see some of my house that probably needs to be cleaned.
We don't have a steady cam yet.
Yes, we're working on our Steadicam. Oh, there's our Joan Crawford portrait we have. Some cool seltzer bottles. Good.
Oh, where's the voice with the laugh?
Oh, I forgot that's the Okay, so here's what the final product looks like. And we also have it served on a depression glass plate with some fruit. Again, this would be great for entertaining, quick, delicious, easy to make. You can't ask for more than that in a recipe.
I actually found it interesting too, Carrie, that you showed me when you showed the recipe that you could ice them.
Yeah,
Which you said the icing wasn't needed.
I just didn't think it was necessary, but yeah, the recipe does say ice if desired.
Right, and it might be fun if someone like you wanted to do it for a bridal shower or something, maybe a little pink or something like that, maybe. But I guess they don't need it. But it's interesting to have it. It also doesn't say the recipe for icing.
No, it does not. And I'm
Yes.
assuming some kind of like royal icing.
Some sort of
some kind
yeah.
of-
Some
You
sort
know,
of,
what I would actually do is maybe get a little pinch of powdered sugar just for visual.
Oh, yeah.
that would be really
And
pretty.
just
Yes.
kinda
Oh,
yes.
yeah,
put
we
on
could
top
have done
there.
But I think the fruit also makes it look very stunning too.
But try one, Anna. They're delicious too.
Oh, they look wonderful.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
we should
try
all
one.
try one.
Yeah, they do look wonderful.
They're just, little bites
Very tasty.
and so tasty.
Mhm.
So thank you, Anna May Wong, and thank you, Anna
Thank
May
you.
Wong.
Mm.
They're very tasty.
Mm.
They're very light.
Mhm.
They're not too sweet.
Perfect
They're
with
not
tea.
dry. Yes.
My son was dipping his in, and it's so much that they were collapsing,
How
disintegrating. Right.
I'm a coffee person, so I've got an iced latte here.
These depression glass things are amazing.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Your
A
collection?
toast, my collection, a toast to Anna May Wong.
Toast.
All right.
And what a thrill it is to have you in
Thank
our
you.
home. I mean, we just worship your aunt around here. Her films are absolutely extraordinary.
Thank you for having me.
She is just a spectacular actress and figure in our history.
So one thing I always love to ask guests is like, especially if you're a family member, how did you first discover that your aunt was a movie star and an icon? Because for most of us, that would be kind of an unusual thing, to kind of find that out.
We had pictures of her over our house, around our house, and they weren't the publicity 8x10 stills. they were more of a kind of family photographs here and there. There's not a lot of them, but then when I was about maybe like 9 or 10, my father said, okay, this is your aunt, and she was an actress. And I thought, oh, that's great. And I thought it was really cool. And then slowly he started telling us more and more about her movies. And
At that point, you hadn't seen any of them.
no, I was
Oh,
no,
wow.
no. So, but it was good. I mean, I found out a lot of things that were interesting. And my father typically would tell us something about one of her movies, and intersperse it with a family story, maybe something like that, you know. So, I mean, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but my aunt had a wonderful sense of humor.
I didn't know that, and I like to know things
Yeah.
that I didn't know
Yeah,
previously.
she really, really loved, she was a very happy person. She was, she loved, she loved her career. She loved her job. But she also loved her family, and she also loved to laugh.
Mm.
So,
And just to clarify, so you are the daughter of the youngest
correct,
brother.
correct.
Should we show this amazing family
yes,
portrait?
Good. I'm almost afraid to touch it because
Oh,
there's
it's
a little
okay.
cake on my fingers.
Right, okay.
Anna brought this from home, this amazing
This
original
is-
portrait in the original frame.
Yeah. Oh, this is. I don't. Is that better to see?
Mhm.
Can I?
Let's show it to the Frogtown Art Walk audience as well.
Yeah. So this is a photograph of my grandparents and my father, who's the teeny tiny little one there in the front, and my aunt is. Can you? She's.
I think so. I think I can see it. Okay.
Okay, yeah, you guys can see it. So my aunt is in the picture too, and this is my aunt, her parents, and all of her siblings. And so it's something that I've always had. I cherish this photograph
It's
a
amazing.
lot, and as you can see, it's kind of old, but it's one of those things that if my house is on fire, I'd probably grab this. Definitely this. But it's interesting because yes, he had a big family. And she grew up in a big family, and
Born in Los Angeles,
yes,
unlike some
correct.
of the press that made it sound like she was from China.
Oh no. My grandparents had a laundry in Chinatown. Chinatown in LA back then was not like Chinatown is now. But that's her whole family, and it's amazing because yes, my father was the youngest, and she was kind of in the middle. My other Aunt Lou, who she was the oldest, and she did a lot of traveling with my aunt too. And so it was a very big family in those days. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
Oh, it seems big to me.
It's big to me too. So, your aunt got started as a little girl when movies were being shot in Chinatown, correct?
She fell in love with movies. They used to use Chinatown as a lot of extras, and the Chinese people were extras, and they shot a lot of movies in Chinatown. And she would actually not go to school, and she'd go to the movie sets. And in fact, there's very documented stories about her directors and movie people saying that they nicknamed her the curious Chinese child. And she would watch the movie sets and watch the actors. She'd go home, stand in front of her mirror, and act out what she saw.
Amazing.
And that's when she realized that's what she wanted to do. Now, the story has it that my grandparents weren't happy about that because acting back then was considered almost, it wasn't good.
Like kind of like almost like a prostitution.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know
Like
if I should
people-
say that. I don't know if I should say that. So I
Happened
didn't
to
say
me.
that. Yeah. Okay. So, and that's what she did. And she learned her craft and she loved it. And I think she actually got to be an extra in a couple of scenes as she got older. So that was really good. She really enjoyed it.
I mean, going to school or being on a live movie set, let's see.
Did you make the call? Yeah.
What I always wonder is, I'm such a believer in the power of the big screen. So watching it on TV is one thing, but when was the first time you saw her writ large on the silver screen?
Probably not to the UCLA Film Festival. They did a 3-day film festival, and all of her movies were shown in the big screen because, like we were talking about before, you couldn't go to ArcLight or you couldn't go to another movie theater and see an May Wong movie because no one was showing them.
Right.
So the first time I saw them was the UCLA Film Festival. I loved them because it was a full-on, real big screen, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Now, granted, movies back then weren't exactly fancy CGI ones they have today, but
Good.
you could you could tell, and it was really fun. It was really fun. The second day they found out my father was in the audience, and they were so excited. They brought him up on stage, and he said, "This is Richard Wong," you know, and they were so excited. My whole family was there. It was great.
Now, when I'm introducing people to May Wong, the starter kit for me is, well, obviously Shanghai Express, just the most amazing film ever with Marlene Dietrich, where she not only holds her own, I mean, some people say she's the film. And then I was so thrilled this very week that the Academy Museum that opens on September 30th, their first virtual screening is Piccadilly.
And
which
it's
is
free.
Yeah,
Yes,
free
yes.
for another week and a half. Go
Yes.
to the Academy Museum website and register to see this film because it's a
You
glorious.
have to RSVP. Yes, exactly.
And she is like just the star of this film, and she's fantastic. It's a British silent. What are your favorites?
That's the thing, but I think you bring that up because silent movies, if you're not used to silent movies, you're kind of sitting there going, because the first time I saw a silent movie, one of her movies, I said, it really is silent. And
She's so great in this movie that, like, sitting here now talking about it, like, wait, was it silent? Because it doesn't, there was nothing lacking. I just felt like I was so in the story. It's an amazing film.
recently I was honored to be a guest of the UCLA archive, and they showed Toll of the Sea, the colorized version. And that is stunning if you get a chance to see that.
That's part of the Academy is also doing a festival in November in their great new theater, which we will all be at every night.
Bells on.
Yes. And Arthur Dong, who's been doing a wonderful commentary also as well for the Academy. But I love all of her films. There are a few films that I felt her character seemed to be, because as you know, back in those days, Asian actors, especially women, were the evil,
the dragon lady.
They were
opium addicted,
the mistress. They were the housemaid.
A negative stereotype.
They were sort of the people that weren't socially at the top drawer. They were the second drawer down. So I do love Toll of the Sea. I think it's great. You know the story of Toll of the Sea, right?
What's it based on?
Apparently there were soldiers, I think, maybe they weren't soldiers, but people that came to the shores of China, I believe it was, and she falls in love with one, and he falls, and he wants to, she gets pregnant, and he wants to bring her back, and actually he gets talked out of it because he's told, you cannot bring, I can't remember the word they use in the film, but you cannot bring this Chinese lady back as your wife and with a child that's now biracial. And so he keeps saying, he lies to her. Well, he doesn't lie to her. He just tells her that I'm going to come back for you. I just have to go home first. Well, he never comes back for her. And the child goes older. Finally, he comes back with with his fiance, who is Caucasian, and she realizes who the child is, and my aunt sends the child back with the father and his new wife to have a better life. Yeah.
You know, even in Piccadilly, which was made outside, we can talk about why she ended up going to Germany and England to make films, but even in Piccadilly, I noticed, because it's kind of a hot love story, but every time they're going in for the kiss, she with the white male lead, and the second before they kiss,
because they weren't allowed to.
They just weren't allowed to, which is kind of sad. But yeah, maybe talk about how she ended up in Europe and why.
Yeah, she held her own really in the silent era. Toll of the Sea is beautiful. I haven't seen it in a while. I need to re-see it, which I will do that this fall.
First 2-strip Technicolor film.
It was an early 2-strip. I don't know if it was the first, but it's definitely very early. And then also she's with Fairbanks in Thief of Baghdad. So she's holding her own against megawatt stars very early on. And then she felt there would be better roles in Europe, right?
She was hoping. Because it got to the point where Hollywood was becoming so not, I'm not sure how to describe it, but she was hoping that Europe was going to be a much better atmosphere for actors and women actors and Asian actors.
Right.
Which, was sad that she had to go over to Europe, but,
But was massively acclaimed. I know she was considered the most popular American actress in England for a while, and then in Germany as well.
She did a lot of live theater, which was great. And people loved it. They loved seeing her there. And I think at one point she may have contemplated living in Europe permanently. Now, I don't know if that, obviously it didn't come to fruition, but I think she felt so much more comfortable there because in Europe, I think at that time especially, there were more easygoing about certain things.
Mhm.
It's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
way to put it.
Well, I was talking to Benjamin this morning, who is our German film expert and friend. He's wonderful. And I was asking him kind of about how the German reception to Anna May Wong was. And he sent me a quote, which I really like. So if you don't mind, I want to read it. Benjamin
course.
said I could. So he said to me this morning, the German public loved her and received Wong as a great Hollywood star. Wong became a Chinese icon in film in the 1930s. This was mainly because Chinese people, especially Chinese women, hardly existed in public and media life and in this country until then. For large sections of the German public, Anna May Wong was the first Chinese woman whose personality became visible to them. And Wong's screen presence was of great importance to the perception of Chinese women in Germany.
That's amazing.
So
Thank you,
that's from Benjamin
Thank
this
you,
morning.
Benjamin.
Thank you.
Honestly, when you see some of the films that she was made there, you almost think, oh, why come back? Of course, then she would have had to anyway with the encroaching Nazis in
Correct,
1933.
yeah.
And
Political.
but was she not? I think it was a Paramount that like begged her to come back, and they were gonna give her the better roles.
I believe it was Paramount, and she wanted to believe that was true. And she did miss her family,
Mhm,
you know, so, and that's true. That was hard for being away from her family. But I do think it was, I think you're right. Paramount was correct. Correct me out there if I'm wrong. But like I said, she was hoping, and well,
And she did get some great
she
films.
did get some great films, but it wasn't enough for her, because as at this point she was so, her acting skills were very fine-tuned, and she was, like you said, she was able to hold her own against all kinds of, you know, A-list people.
Top of the line.
And she wanted to be able to have a starring role. She wanted to be able to be a featured actor, despite the fact that she's Chinese.
And she deserved that.
I agree.
And in the meantime, she was becoming a major style icon and was voted the best dressed woman in the world, I think, at one point.
The world?
I thought so. Well, the world, according to Hollywood, which they thought was the world.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that could be true. You know, I do get many people. Many people send me photographs and have said, "Have you seen this photograph? Have you seen this dress?" And there, every now and then there is a photograph I haven't seen, a dress I haven't seen. I do regularly, you know, keep my eye on, take a look at different photographs. But it was always a very. She always looked stunning. She always looked put together. She always looked, you know, very fashionable. I loved her dresses, her hats, her accessories. Yeah, her makeup.
Stunning.
perfect.
Yeah.
And she has some of the greatest photographers in the world taking her pictures, right?
Carl Van Vleuten was one of them. He became a family friend. And
I think she did some Hurrells.
yes, George Hurrell, yes. And George Hurrell was, like, I guess you would call her what, the Annie Leibovitz of our time, maybe, something like that.
For sure.
And they made her, and you know, they made her look very good, but you know, to begin with, she was great looking, so I don't think that's much of a chore. But yeah, her fashion is beautiful. Nowadays, people still comment on certain aspects, certain types of dresses she wore, her hats, her coats, and she was always very well put together.
I mean, she loved the camera. We have two photos of her behind us here that are stunning. Probably from early 30s, I would assume.
I find that when I've watched her films, you can't take your eyes off of her.
No.
Like when I see her in film, it's almost like it's tunnel vision, and it's like Anna May Wong and other people maybe are in it, but it's Anna May Wong. It's
And
like
when you're
it's
next to
all
Marlena
focus on.
Dietrich, that's saying something, I must say.
That's saying a lot.
They
Like,
were great, and they were friends, right? They were good friends.
They were friends, yes. You know what, it is interesting you say that, because a lot of people do say that they are drawn to her on screen. And I find that myself. Now, granted, I'm maybe a little biased, but when I see her movies, it's like you're there. You see her, and then you say, oh yeah, there's other people, there's other things going on in the background.
well, the first time I saw Piccadilly, the first entrance, I think a star entrance in a movie is kind of important because it's
Yes.
the first time you see them in this particular film. So even as we were talking about yesterday, the first time you see her in Piccadilly, she is in ragged clothes dancing on top of a dishwasher, and you're like, how many people can pull that off and
No.
look stunning in that situation?
Unbelievable. Total rags, ripped stocking. She's working in
A
the
story,
kitchen.
a story made in the kitchen, and you're just like, dang, it's incredible. And then when she gets all dolled up in the sequins and hits the dance floor for the floor show, you're just like,
Forget it.
this is a whole nother level of awe. You know, she's just so spectacular. Like megawatt is definitely a phrase that is used to describe a lot of stars, and I've used that a lot too. But anime is megawatt. I mean, it's just
I agree.
radiates.
I agree. She had that it quality, star quality.
Oh, yeah.
And she worked very, very hard to try to make sure that people knew that she was an actor, not just a pretty face.
Absolutely.
Well
She was amazingly talented, and it's considering the prejudice at the time and just the whole industry, it's a miracle she got as far as she did. Of course, there are moments where we just want to rip our hair out at.
Which we talked about The Good Earth.
Yes, yeah. So the Good Earth debacle, your aunt really expressed her interest in playing that role, years before the film was made, when it was with different directors and in development, and there was no one. I mean, I think she was even from the same area. I mean, her family was, and it made, and everyone would just assume she would be playing the role of Olan, and they would not give her that role.
Correct.
They cast Louise Reiner, who basically
Austrian actress,
which it leads us to the point that we talked about before. It still boggles my mind that Hollywood was willing to pay a Caucasian actor to be dressed up as an Asian person to play that part, where there's an Asian person that can play that part, and then the Asian person to play the Caucasian part was made up to look like the Caucasian person.
It makes no sense.
Mhm.
It doesn't.
And I mean, thank God, at least I hope we're past that, but who knows?
I would hope so. That's I feel part of her legacy is the fact that
Mhm.
Asian actors have stronger roles now. Now they don't have as many, but we're going in the right direction. I do feel that actresses like Michelle Kuzik, Lucy Liu, the great late Elizabeth Sung, who I adore and unfortunately passed away, but John Cho, those people, movies like Crazy Rich Asians and Joy Luck Club. Now those people, they featured an all Asian cast.
Right.
And that's important. And now whether that would have happened years ago, probably not.
And all of them always, when I've heard, pay their debt of gratitude to your aunt, as they should. But the Good Earth thing, I mean, I think that really affected her, right? I mean,
yes,
that was very
yes.
disillusioning, because she so wanted that part, and they offered her the part of the one unsympathetic character.
Correct. The kind of nutty character.
I think concubine of
one of the wives. I think
Yeah.
it was, yes.
She said no, thank you.
She said no, thank you, because at that point she was able to pretty much pick and choose parts, so to speak.
Mhm.
And of course, as we all know, what happened with Louise Rainer's part, she won the Oscar.
Which I like Louise Rainer, but
That should not have happened.
Yeah, and I feel that's was a big turning point for her. She realized that she could have played the part. She might have won the Oscar. Now, granted, would she have won the Oscar? We don't know. I would like to hope that she would have, because I think that would have been an amazing achievement for her. But, it made her sad. She realized that as far as she's become with, A-list actors and everything, Marlene Dietrich's, and people, she still wasn't there.
yeah. I wonder if the war wasn't encroaching, if she might have considered going back to Europe at that point.
Possibly,
She
I could
was so
see that.
beloved.
Yeah, I could see her doing that, and it was just depressing. There was the Hollywood Netflix.
The Ryan Murphy show, which
Correct.
we'll talk about. She was in that show, but it was in no way historically accurate or representative of her struggle.
Now, and I will have to give snaps to the amazing Michelle Kuzik. She did an amazing job acting as my aunt. However, if anybody who's seen that show, and if they haven't seen the show, they're writing in there that my aunt won the Oscar. Now, and I've had people ask me, do you have your aunt's Oscar?
Yeah, this is why, I'm not sure I'm down for that alternate history, that series, although she was a wonderful character in it. I mean,
yes, she did a great job with it, and she was given a script. However, I feel like that change in showing the anime won an Oscar, I feel like it's almost not right, because there are people out there that think she won the Oscar.
And I would love to see a really in-depth biopic someday about your aunt that shows the struggles and how she rose above them, up to a point where she could.
I think we will be seeing something like that in the future, possibly. That's hopefully. we're doing something like that, hopefully.
And just finding the right person.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to do that. I'd love to be able to show her as a family member, and show her with her, her relationship with her family, her relationship with other actors, her feeling about Hollywood. I think she was, she was very important. Her legacy needs to be shown.
And she was very involved, and during the war, she did so much for helping
Yes.
people in China.
Yeah.
I mean, she worked her butt off
Yeah.
during the war, and that was already when she was already disillusioned by the good earth and was somewhat waning, but she still made some.
Now, I've been told by my father it was almost like a distraction, like to keep her, and yet she was distracted by the atmosphere of Hollywood, but then what she was doing benefited people at the same time. So she was able to help people and kept her mind off the Hollywood being the way Hollywood
She persisted.
was. Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to talk about her legacy was, and this is such an exciting announcement, May Wong is going to be on the United States quarter in 2022. And you have had this fascinating process, which I have never met anybody that's been through this, whose relative is going to be on a quarter, and you've met with the United States Mint. So this is a big deal. Tell us about that process and what you kind of dealt with the Mint and the whole process in Washington.
I was reached out by a lovely gentleman, Greg Weinman. He's one of the head legal counsel for the U.S. Mint. He discussed it. He said that there are other women. The U.S. Mint is doing a program where they're honoring other women, and so my aunt is a series. The first series of 4, and they reached out to me. And to be honest with you, I kind of thought I thought, God, is this a joke? I mean, they want to put her on a quarter, and so I had my attorney reach out and review all the documents. He went over it. He's amazing, Jackie Goodman, and he said this is legit. And so fast forward to I actually got a portfolio of the artists. The artists, they work on the designs of the quarter, and then the portfolio is presented. They reach out to family members and they show you the portfolio. And I saw it, and some of the drawings were amazing. All of them were amazing. Some were a little bit more to her likeness than others. Not to say that they weren't all great, but they were. They showed them to me. They said the family gives the feedback on these meetings. So I had to Zoom with the people in the U.S. Mint.
Wow.
That was interesting because there was it's the biggest Zoom call I've ever been on.
You'll be responsible for what's in everyone's pocket. It's amazing.
Well, okay, now that's not okay. So what happens is that you give your feedback of the drawings you like, and I picked out 2 drawings that I thought that she'd be able to be on the front and the back,
which she should be.
Right. Well, I found out that due to the law, there's the law that Jefferson always has to be his face on the front of the quarter, so she only gets the back of the quarter. Which is fine. She's still on the quarter. Okay.
That's good.
So she's on the quarter, and then you give your feedback to which design you like, and then you sit in the meetings, and then the final call is made by someone higher up in the U.S. Mint, who I do know her name, but I just can't think of it at the time. But and so I actually I gave some feedback, and they asked you why you felt that this was the best one. Mm-hmm. There were some that didn't have her face. There were some just the movie slap,
the camera,
the clapper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. And it just has her name on it, which this is fine. But I felt like I gravitated to ones that had her face.
Well, yeah, that's
because exactly. I thought she's in a quarter. It says her name. Well,
representation.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can you even imagine what she would think if she knew one day she would be on the face of the quarter? Take that, Louise Reiner.
That's so interesting you say that, because I think she'd be so proud and humbled. My family when I told my family about it, they were very humbled as well. And they were like, wait, what?
And the first Chinese American ever on any legal tender whatsoever.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can actually at some point, like you said, go to a store and use change, and they say, oh, it's 10.50. you can give them a quarter, and it might be a quarter that has a face on it.
I'll be hoarding all of my Anime Wong quarters, so.
Same, they will not go in
It's a
parking
brilliant
meters.
move, because we're gonna have to get more quarters to spend.
The Mint has been amazingly accommodating to my family in my time zone, because I'm in California and they're in DC. And they're so thoughtful. They want to make sure that the family is in every step, involved in every step, which is good. And we made a few, I think it's amazing. She's on the quarter. People still have, they talk about her clothes. They still want to talk about her movies.
The Academy Museum in its premiere season is featuring her in a film festival. I mean, this is her year, thank God.
Yes, having a big moment.
And
She
it's
needs to
exciting.
be lauded.
It's exciting. It really is.
Well, I think given what's been going on in the world recently too,
Yes.
this is so timely because
Yes.
she matters, her story matters, and she is such a beacon of inspiration and excellence.
And had to endure some of the Asian hate that sadly is still around these days, so.
Correct. It's very sad. And I think that the racism that she endured early on, it's still there now. And she, that was one of the biggest obstacles she had to do to get over to become where she, a person in Hollywood.
Mhm.
Here she was, she's a woman and she's Chinese.
I mean,
And
that she could even be looking in that mirror at age 12 or whatever she was and imagine herself there already shows, she was not going to be succumbing under the weight of
very
that
determined.
racism.
she's very, and the other thing too is that for her to, in Asian families, you don't go against what your parents think and say. It's just not, you just don't do that.
Mhm.
And for her parents said no, they were against her becoming an actress. And
And in the parents' defense, like the odds were so against her, anyone.
Correct,
So,
correct.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's miraculous.
Yeah. I agree.
It's-
And yeah, you're right. I mean, it's something that she overcame, and she laid the groundwork for all the Asian actors in the world now.
It's got to be emotionally hard to be that trailblazer because that's kind of, you're the first person to kind of whack through that jungle with the machete and
Right.
clear a path for other
Mhm.
people. And
Because
that's
then the
gotta
people
be-
just have to come down the path, and then you've
Yeah.
already
Right.
made exactly.
Yeah.
I think that's amazing that she was able to do that, and that she was a success at it.
And I did read later in her career, she was also the first Asian American, Chinese American to be the star of a TV series, but I guess none of that exists anymore anywhere.
Correct. Now,
That's a shame.
were we gonna ask Benjamin for this?
Benjamin,
Oh.
we want to know
Benjamin.
how many, if any, Anime Wong films are extant in Germany, the films that she made over in Germany. So let us know in the comments.
Get to
or,
the archives, Benjamin.
She
Head to
had,
Berlin.
she had a TV show too, and I think that was part of the thing. I have done some research, and I've tried to find out
Not a
where.
kinescope anywhere.
No, because, and I have heard that where the actual, little round film tins were held, I've heard it burned down,
Mm.
the structure, and so it's not there anymore. And I've also heard that the place was flooded, so, and it was
Oh,
lost.
gosh.
I don't know it now. From what I hear, Benjamin, you're the only one that can find it. So
For the German stuff. Oh, yeah.
exactly,
yeah.
yes, exactly. So it would be great if we found it, and I don't know what condition it would be in, but yes. she
Head to
did.
every attic in Germany.
Yes. Well, there's, it's so frustrating as people who love film that there is a lot of lost film, a lot of
Yes.
lost television. And it's so hard when you study this stuff and you're trying to piece together the trajectory and artistry of a career, and you can't find major pieces of that puzzle. It's crazy making.
It's sad. It's sad because if it was out there, I would love to. I'm sure other people, but I would truly love
Oh,
to see
yeah.
that.
I've seen posters for some of the German films, which are extraordinary, but yeah, that would be great. And after Piccadilly, when they had the discussion at the museum with Arthur Dong, it was just tantalizing because I didn't know this, that she had already been cast in Flower Drum Song, which was
Yes.
when the first major, studio film. I mean, believe me, it had some issues, but that was featuring a mostly Asian cast. And then sadly, she died right before.
Yeah, that was a big step for the Asian
Yeah.
cast. There'd be all Asians like that.
Yes.
Or 80% Asian, 90%, but mostly Asian.
Well, the irony is she was going to be playing Adam Liang, and that was the one part that then, when she died, went to Juanita Hall, who's not Asian, and
Correct.
which
But
is
she
kind of-
passed away, so I mean, at
Yeah.
least we know that she didn't do it because.
right. No, and I mean, I
That's
just
silver
like,
lining,
oh, I
silver
would have
lining,
loved,
silver
even though
lining.
her
Yes.
song chop suey, I'm sure some people in the Asian community would have an issue with, but I would have loved to have seen that as her last, as a big, film kind of comeback. It's a
To
shame.
me, there are some of the movies that are on DVD.
Yes.
Some of them are on streaming. And we've mentioned Arthur Dong several times in this conversation. He is a great historian. He's written a book called Hollywood Chinese, which we all highly recommend.
Yes.
No, he's a
Arthur
real
Dong,
legend.
yes, Arthur Dong has been amazing. He's I've always been a huge fan of Arthur Dong. I've recently connected with him through the Academy and stuff, and he's just an amazing historian, and he's a huge fan of my aunt, which I'm so grateful for that. That he's such a big fan. He wants to make sure that she's never forgotten, which as well as me too. I will never let my aunt's name be forgotten.
And you and Arthur will both be part of the Academy Festival this
Yes,
November,
yes,
so that's great.
correct, yes.
Reason enough to head to Wilshire and Fairfax, those of you who can.
Yes. The museum is beautiful. It's being under construction. It's got it's gonna have some amazing films, exhibits, things like that. The Smithsonian is also interested in, they're opening a new wing, American, and I'm sorry, Ryan, if you're watching, that I don't know the name of the wing. Ryan is with the Smithsonian. It's either American in films and American history, Americans in film history. Anyway, they've asked for her to be involved in that, and I've been working with them as well. So that's something exciting that's going to happen. So I want to keep her name out there. She would be horrified at what's going on with the Asian hate right now due to COVID and things like that. But I think she'd be very proud that we've actually gotten this far.
And I think Chloe Zhao winning the Best Director Oscar, that was huge too. And Crazy Rich Asians made a boatload of money. And I always feel like money talks louder than anything else in Hollywood. So the fact that movie made so much money, I cling to hope that studios will realize there is an appetite for these stories. There is an incredible pool of talent to draw from for so many stories, even if they're not Asian centered story, they're just, a character in a movie. So I really hope that movie kind of breaks another barrier and opens more doors.
Well, even in TV, there's, Kim's Convenience Store and things like that.
Fresh off the boat.
Fresh off the boat. My husband, Nick Morris, is a writer, and he and his writing partner, Fong Lee, wrote a thing called The Lees of Los Angeles, which is about a story about an Asian family. And they're living in America. They just happen to be Asian, and it's a great. It's available on YouTube. The Lees of Los Angeles. I was a producer on that. We had the amazing Jim Lau was in it. Lin Chen and the Elizabeth Song. That's when I worked with her last. But we need more shows like that. We need more.
You never felt the acting bug yourself?
No.
Gene Pool?
Do you know how many people ask me that all the time? They say, "Did you not want to act?" I don't want to act. I don't feel like no.
You know what I love? What Arthur Dong said too the other night was even in the lesser films that your aunt did because nothing else was being offered to her. Where it was the Dragon Lady or the May. She brought something to it, she made that something you just couldn't take your eyes off that character.
Right, she elevated it.
And so I recommend any May Wong film you can find, get to it. But if you've never seen Shanghai Express by Joseph von Sternberg, what the hell are you waiting for? Go see that immediately.
Go now,
and
after the show.
And Piccadilly is free on the Academy website virtually for the next week and a half. And by tomorrow, I'll have my HollywoodKitchenShow.com blog post up. I'll have links to get DVDs, links to watch stuff.
Yes.
And I left my phone in the kitchen and I want to take questions from the audience. So if you guys want to talk for a minute, I'm going to go get the phone so we can take questions.
I'm so happy to do this show and shows like this and to get her and keep her name out there. Danny's son, who's 12, apparently he's a big old movie buff, and I think it's amazing that at 12 he's not watching something like, what is a kid movie these days?
I don't know, because I can't even bear them. No, no, he loves them, and of course Barbara Stanwyck is his.
And at 12, I don't think maybe I did, but at 12, anybody out there with a 12-year-old, do they know who Barbara Stanwyck is? I don't know.
Introduce your children to classic films.
Turn a classic movie is your friend.
Yeah,
is your friend. Exactly.
All right, let's see. We've got Nick Morris says, I don't think an authorized biography exists yet.
So Morris said that?
Nick Morris said that right here.
That is correct. That is correct, Nick Morris. Thank you for that question. And for those of you who don't know, my husband is Nick Morris, and that's why I was asking you.
Oh, okay.
And yes, yeah, but there will be one soon, hopefully. And we do know we would love to have that happen. Yes, and we are working with another lovely author, Katie Salisbury, who's working on some stuff with that as well.
There's so many elements of her life that are worth
It's hard
telling.
to do. It's hard to do a whole thing.
Mhm.
So yes, yes. In the answer to the question, yes, I hope that will be happening very soon, Mr. Morris.
Crystal Lawler says, I loved When You Were Born. She was the major role in that movie.
When You Were Born. Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
When you were born?
When you were born.
I don't know if does someone have Google right now?
Yeah, I'd have to, I don't know.
I'm not familiar with that, and I apologize.
Benjamin in Germany says, I just read there was an exhibition at the Berlin Film Museum about the Weimar Republic, including photos of May Wong. There is also a book going with it. I will watch out for it.
Thank you, Benjamin.
Thank you, Benjamin. You are
Benjamin.
on it for us, and I love you for this.
He sent some great pictures of her at these balls in Berlin in 1928. They're just
once again, her
stunning.
fashion.
Yeah.
Our fashion is
With Marlene
amazing.
Dietrich, who she knew
Yes.
there.
Would you have died to be at a ball with Marlene Dietrich and May Wong?
Can you
I don't think I
imagine?
could have handled that.
Mouth open to the
I
floor.
would have
But
just been staring like,
Same. Lisa Dare says James Hong elevated small roles too. A good
Yes,
example is his
yes.
appearance in Chinatown. His behavior says so much about his employer, Noah Cross.
James Hong is an amazing actor. He's now. I was on board to help get him a Hollywood star. I was like, we need to get him a star.
Oh, good.
He is getting one. James Hong is one of my favorite Asian actors. I've actually never met him. I hope to at one point someday, but he's done all kinds of great stuff, and he's amazing. Yes, that is correct. He's another wonderful Asian actor.
Did I read that the very famous cinematographer was your cousin James Wong Hao? Or
He's not related to me.
oh, maybe that was just some press at one point that I read.
Yes, he's not related to me. Then again, with our family tree, it could be true. I don't believe he is, but I would love to have someone like that, of that caliber, related to me. So if he is related to me, then should we just say yes, he's related to
Yeah,
me?
sure.
Yeah, he's related to me.
I love our viewers because I've already gotten the whole synopsis texted to me.
wow.
When you were born. Oh, thank you. It's a 1938 murder mystery starring May Wong as an astrologer who
An
helps
astrologer.
police.
Oh my God,
I missed
I'll
this
be
one.
watching that this
All
afternoon.
right, same here. That will be the rest of my day.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Crystal Lawler, thumbs
Thank
up to you. Thank you
you.
so
Thank
much for
you.
catching that. Samantha Ellis, also, thank you for catching that one. It used to be on Filmstruck, but I don't remember it being on TCM. That's
Oh.
Samantha Ellis saying that. So we'll track that down.
Was it last year or the year before during the Oscars? TCM did a whole thing of her films, and I actually posted on Facebook. I said, "While everybody else is watching the Oscars, I'm watching my aunt on TCM."
Oh, better choice.
Yeah.
Frankly. This
Yes.
one.
It was either last year no, I think it was the year before then,
Oh.
because last year was the pandemic.
I just got an idea, Danny. Okay, this past year in Hollywood Kitchen, since the pandemic was raging and everyone was just, it was so tough, I did a thing called the Oscar Cook-Along, and I got people to, including Danny, and a bunch of us made recipes of either nominees or winners, and then we each did a little presentation of our food, and we had a group chat for 4 hours
It was
straight.
fun. It was a marathon.
amazing. It was a total marathon.
It was better than the show this year.
Way better than the show.
I can
But
imagine.
You know what I was thinking, Danny? This just hit me. Maybe next year's Oscar Cookathon is stars who should have been nominated or won, but did it, and then we can make it that
Yes.
instead.
And then we'll confuse the people that where's your Oscar even more.
Yes, but no, that's a
Where is
great.
my Oscar?
Yeah, it is good.
Where is my aunt's Oscar? Yeah.
Samantha Ellis says, I would love to see Anna being honored for Summer Under the Stars on TCM.
Oh,
I
has she
wondered-
never been?
I don't know. I have to
Oh,
look
come on.
that
That's
up.
so
Yeah.
because
wonderful.
Get
That
it going,
needs to
TCM.
happen if it hasn't already.
That's a wonderful.
That
For
needs
sure.
to happen.
Yes. it's a
And
wonderful
oh
thing.
my gosh, big time.
And I think you're correct, because now with the pandemic, I know that we're opening more and everything, but I think this is a good time for, a lot of her DVDs are available on Amazon, and you can, some of her older movies, I think you can find them at some point in like film vaults and things like that. But it's a good time to stay at home and watch this, because how many times do you really want to watch things like something that's always been on repeat. You know, how many times do you want to watch the thing? You should watch Anime Wong.
Right.
Yes, I
Yeah,
agree.
no, I mean,
Discover that.
I love the Philadelphia story, but TCM shows that like every 3 days.
Yeah, it's on every week.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Katharine Hepburn and Dragon Seed, just to
Oh,
makes Louise
yeah.
Reiner look like. I mean, I worship
Yeah.
Katharine Hepburn, but why did they do that?
And Katharine
Wow.
Hepburn's accent is very distinct.
I mean, and she didn't even.
And
Try.
Her,
No
her
effort
voice
was
is
made.
very distinct, and for that, I was like,
I can only imagine what the Chinese American community at the time when those movies came out.
they're thinking, that was an interesting
Oh,
choice.
Yeah.
Let's see, Ruth said, Ruth Munsack, hello Ruth.
Hi,
Ruth
Ruth.
says, I am looking forward to learning even more about Anime Wong. Yay! This is the greatest thing for me to doing these. I mean, it's fun to make food and explore the lives and meet relatives and people. But to me, if this is a gateway drug for someone to go, hey, I'm gonna look up their movies. Hey, I want to read Hollywood Chinese. Like, if that opens the floodgates for someone to learn about these artists, then that's why I get out of bed.
It
you
has
know?
for me on some of your people that I wasn't that familiar with.
Me
so.
too.
Yeah, some of your shows are so enlightening. You realize, wow, and it's such a service. I was so excited to be a guest on Hollywood Kitchen when she asked me, and I said, wow. And I saw some older episodes, and I'm thinking, oh, I need to do this show.
Oh,
Thank you. Well, when Danny suggested we do Gertrude Bird, I didn't know who she was, and now I feel terrible about that. But it's for me, I learned too, because I didn't know, and now I do. And
again, speaking of representation and
Speaking
people
of
that were kind of
representation.
hidden, you know, the Jewish community, the Chinese community.
and powerful women. I mean,
Mhm.
so many
Right.
levels on which I was like, how did I not know who this person was? And now I need to. So for just me, discovery and learning never ends. Like, I never want to be like, I know everything, because I don't. There's always movies I haven't seen, books I haven't read, stuff we can all learn. I can learn, everybody can learn. And
Well, I'm dying to see all the European films, and when Benjamin finds them in the attic, we're gonna have a film
Oh,
festival.
poor Benjamin.
that's right. No pressure there at
No
all.
pressure, Benjamin, at all. Poor Benjamin. He's like,
But sometimes stuff does turn up.
Oh,
I mean,
totally.
that has, I burn the eternal flame of hope that things will continue to be discovered,
yes,
you know?
yes. I mean,
Let's-
there's always something, you know. Sometimes I remember when one of my most prized possessions my father gave me was Anime Wong's silver ID bracelet. And
That says Anime Wong.
yes, it says Anime Wong. You know those old school ID bracelets?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
I have it, and I do wear it every now and then. And when I wear it, I think to myself, every time I look at my wrist, I'm like, wow, she used to wear this on her wrist, and it just blows my mind every single time.
Have there been moments in your life where having the name Anime Wong was like people just you had strange reactions, or?
Yes, yeah, while I appreciate every single solitary fan of my aunt's, I truly do. There are some fans that are more overzealous than others, and some fans are a little very, 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 very fan oriented. And but I do appreciate every single solitary fan she has.
It's just unusual to have a relative with the same name.
Correct. People have been very, very happy to meet me when I've done speaking things, and I've had people come up to me, oh, I can't believe I'm meeting you, and I always feel bad because I said,
It's just me.
it's just me. I mean, and I was I'm like, I'm her niece, and I'm not really her, but I think some people like to project, they're never going to be able to meet her.
You're
Right.
the
So-
closest thing they have.
Right, exactly. And her DNA is in me, so
Yeah.
technically, I guess, but
Clipping bits of your
yeah,
hair. So
but it truly is amazing that, and her fans range the gamut from young to older to middle to age, all kinds of age groups, all kinds of ethnic backgrounds, men, women. So I truly appreciate my family, and I truly appreciate every single fan that she has.
Micheline, our host for the Elysian Valley Arts Collective, she just sent a comment that someone said on the Zoom there, and it says, a quote, I did a lot of digging regarding the gallery of Madame Lu Song. I
Oh,
hope I pronounced that right.
the TV show.
Yeah.
And I found the name of an actor who isn't listed with most of the information on the show. Just curious if the families of supporting actors could have kinemascopes of their
Ooh.
scenes.
Possibly.
Maybe they have a piece of footage. It's a theory.
Research.
Research.
Great
Okay,
idea.
I think we
Great
have a
idea.
project.
Thank
That
you.
is something to think
It's a
about.
great idea. Yes.
They found the Lost Honeymooners episode. So
They found I Love Lucy episode lost at
Yes.
some point. So
yeah.
who knows?
Okay,
Who knows?
this is our goal.
Benjamin wants to know, were you involved in the Hollywood Gateway sculpture on Hollywood Boulevard
Oh.
at La Brea, Havana?
I was not. For those of you who don't know, on Hollywood and La Brea, there is a statue of 4 women's bodies.
And they're like doing like this,
Right,
holding
they're
up
holding
this,
up the
Holding up the
statue,
statue.
and one of them is my aunt,
Dorothy Dandridge, yeah.
Dorothy Dandridge.
Mae
Yes.
West is on it?
May, is it?
Is she May West on it?
It's.
I forget, but anyway,
Yeah, and yes, I was not involved in that, but because it's been there for quite some time. But it is. I think it's a great representation, and people have actually, in fact, when I first met my husband, he lived down the street from that. And
Oh.
one day we were walking by it, and I told him the story about that, and he was so excited. And he tells everybody, he goes, yeah, that's Anna's aunt, and things like that. And it's an amazing statue. And one more, and I still every now and then we go see her star. And
Where is her star? Do you remember where in Hollywood?
I know how to find it, and I don't know the street name,
Okay,
but I know how to find it. I'll take you there.
but how cool that.
Another project.
Yes, yeah, I'll take you there. It's a field trip because there's Lucy Liu's star is right near there.
Ah.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
wow.
she recently got her star, and they put it near her, and she actually mentioned, she was very kind and mentioned my aunt's name in her acceptance of the
Oh.
star. Yeah.
And of course, sitting here at my home in West Adams, we're just a few blocks from Angela's Rosedale Cemetery,
Yes.
which is her final resting place.
Yes, correct.
With, I think she's on the same stone with your
My
grandmother
grandmother,
and your
correct,
other
yes,
aunt.
correct,
Yeah.
yes.
So that's
Um,
something we do visit.
Yes, that cemetery, Angela is,
Angela's Rosedale.
thank you, is open to the public. They have reopened since the pandemic, and there is a way to find it, to see it. It's not a very big the headstone.
Stone, yeah.
Yeah, it's not very big, but there are, and we do have, and I do know there are fans that go there weekly, and they kind of make sure the weeds aren't growing over it,
Nice.
and they, which are very kind, thank you so much, and they dust it off and things like that. And there's a couple groups, I think, that meet around her once a year around her birthday and the anniversary of her death.
Oh.
There's a lot of activity there. People like to go there and pay their respects, which I think is very, 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 very nice as well.
Krista Lawler says Anna is just as beautiful as her aunt.
Aw.
Thank you so much. What a nice thing to say. What an honor. I would be honored if people think that.
Let's see, Karen Burroughs Hansberry. I just bought 2 photos of Anna May Wong off eBay, and I am on the hunt for Hollywood Chinese. Thank you for giving me the focus of my newest obsession.
That's
Yay!
Arthur Dong's book. Yes, get it.
I bet Larry Edmonds would have it. Please call them up because they're a
bet
local
they do.
independent bookstore in Hollywood. We got to do everything we can to keep them open and trucking because they really serve our
You
community.
know, I can probably reach out to Arthur and find out where to get it.
Oh, that'd be
He may be
wonderful.
watching. I don't know, Arthur, if you're watching, but I can get a hold of him, and we can always put the link to where to buy that on your blog.
That would be great.
I
Yeah.
wish there was a whole mini-series of that book. Has there ever been anything?
Oh,
like that?
that's an
Wouldn't
idea.
that be great? And
That's
of
an
course,
idea.
at
That's an
least one
idea.
episode, Anna May Wong.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's an idea. That's an idea.
A question from the Elysian Valley Arts Collective. Do we cook the tea cakes at 375 for 12 minutes or at 350?
Okay.
Oh, well, the recipe called for 375, and that's when I did it. When I did it, the full 15 minutes at 375, they were a little overcooked. I would probably do it 350 and check them at like 12 or 13 minutes. And
Yes, because this is the right
Yeah.
color to have, right? You want
Yes.
this color kind of
you don't want it too brown, and
like
then
a
the
light
bottom is going to be really
brown,
brown.
and then, yes, this is just a little bit of brown, and then it's, and it was cooked. They're amazing. They're very
They're light and
everybody should have them.
delicious. It's really
Yes.
the perfect brunch accompaniment.
Exactly.
And it has been an absolute delight to have you today. I think there are hopefully going to be a lot of new fans out there that are going to discover her work. You've been so wonderful in sharing with
Thank you.
us.
Thank you
for
so
having me.
much.
Thank
You
you for
are
having
a
me. Thank you for
delight.
opening your
You're a
home.
wonderful steward
Thank you for
of your
having me
aunt.
on. Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
Yes, and Danny, thank you for letting me invade your house for 2 days. in a
Human
row
beings,
here.
sitting with human beings, it's a new experience.
And no masks.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
It's lovely.
And Micheline's in the other room, but thank
Thank
you
you to
again
Elysian
to
Art Collective,
Micheline,
yes.
Elysian Valley Arts Collective, Frogtown Art Walk. This has been a wonderful treat. So thank you guys
Thank
so
you
much
everyone for tuning in.
for
Thanks.
stay tuned in the future for more food, fun, and film history at Hollywood Kitchen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.